You know, O Lord, how hard we find it to forgive those who have offended us. Yet you ask us to forgive without restrictions. Make us capable, Lord, of the love you ask, for without you, we are lost. Good morning, friends. Welcome to a new day. Today's reflection will be from Monday, July 3rd, 2006, 12:26 in the morning. And again, this is from the daily retreat reflection from Retreat Master Rory Pitstick, who at the time worked in a retreat center in Washington State. And the title is Doubting Thomas. St. Thomas the Apostle is popularly known as Doubting Thomas because he refused to believe the testimony of the other 10 apostles to whom Jesus had appeared on the evening of Easter Sunday. Even though the doubting appellative generally evokes a negative connotation, that is, the chastisement for his lack of faith, we shouldn't overlook the positive aspects of Thomas' incredulity. In fact, his initial disbelief established a firm anchor for our own belief. You may have heard of those imbecilic biblical interpreters who deny the historicity of Christ's resurrection, claiming instead that the apostles merely suffered the delusion of wishful thinking, and therefore had some fantasy or psychotic experience of Jesus as living again in their own minds and hearts. But the irrationality of such a fabrication is exposed by the very rationality of the doubt raised by Thomas. The death of Jesus was a crushing blow for all of the apostles. None of them possessed such an unrealistic, obstinate optimism that they needed to, or would have been able to, somehow collectively dream up the resurrection to prove that their messianic hopes were not unfounded. On the contrary, when Mary Magdalene and the other women witnesses initially reported the empty tomb and the angelic testimony, the apostles completely dismissed their account and refused to believe. In fact, in addition to Thomas' doubt recorded in the Gospel of St. John, the natural initial skepticism of all the apostles is also clearly attested to in the other 3 Gospels. Such doubt could only be overcome by the most convincing of proofs. While the details are given only about what Thomas demanded and received in order to believe in his resurrected glory, Christ evidently provided each apostle with the undoubtable evidence needed to establish the redoubtable faith that gave birth to the indubitable, irrefutable testimony of martyrdom. Sisters and brothers, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, St. Paul tells us that if Christ had not been risen from the dead, then our faith is in vain. And one would think for maybe even a few hundred years afterwards, if it had not taken place, eventually faith and belief and worship of Jesus would have faded away. But it was the opposite. It increased. And it increased to the point where people were willing to give up their lives in testimony to Jesus Christ rather than deny him. So the testimony of Thomas, what occurred that day, was for the benefit of all the apostles and for you and for me in the year 2024. I doubt seriously that anyone's going to put us on the spot and ask us to deny Jesus Christ or face death. For thousands of years after the resurrection, people were put to death for just that. And all they had to do to save their life was deny Jesus Christ. So ultimately, proof that the Holy Spirit was placed into the souls of these people and to you and me at baptism. And the words given to Thomas by Jesus on that fateful day ring true to you and me today. You have come to believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have come to believe. May God bless you, sisters and brothers. Have a peaceful day. May God bless the world with peace. And if it should please God, may we meet again soon.